in mind. Just to remind you, it's Entertainment Thursday. You can wade into this conversation. Get us on X. What do you think about literal works that have so far turned political? Now we start off with headlines, stories that have been making headlines in the last 12 hours. Just to remind you that I'm Regina Manyera and this is in the headlines. And just in case you're wondering, the views that are given in this particular segment are entirely our own as individuals. Nonetheless, we remain here to inform, educate, and entertain. Welcome to Entertainment Thursday. Now we start off with Matters News, where 16 new cases of Kala-Azar disease have been reported in Wajir and Marsabit counties, with the death toll hitting 33 in the last 24 hours. Addressing the media in Wajir, Principal Secretary in charge of Public Health, Mary Muthoni, assured residents of containing the disease, with surveillance being enhanced in northeastern counties.
Kala-Azar, a parasitic disease transmitted by sandflies, has so far claimed 33 lives in Wajir and Marsabit counties since its outbreak in the country in October 2024. Despite the government's effort to eliminate the disease, new cases are still being reported, with 4 cases and 7 cases reported in Wajir and Marsabit counties respectively in the last 24 hours.
We still have Kala-Azar in the northeastern counties. Wajir leading and Marsabit. Already we have 1,041 cases, and just last night we had 16 new cases that have been discovered. We already have 33 deaths.
However, Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi has expressed optimism after confirming that the county hospitals are now discharging more patients than they are admitting due to collaborations between the county and national health teams.
Working together with the national government and with also other players in this sector of health, I can comfortably say that we have brought it under control. And we are doing our very best to ensure that there is no one more life lost.
Children under the age of 5 years are the most affected, accounting for 74% of all infections and 88% of all deaths. Symptoms of Kala-Azar include irregular bouts of fever, weight loss, enlargement of the spleen and liver, and anemia.
Now we'll be keeping tabs on that development. So far, 33 deaths recorded as government emphasizes that the spread of the disease, that is Kala-Azar, is going to be contained. We'll be keeping tabs on that development in Wajir. Now to the National Assembly, the teacher crisis shortage in junior secondary schools took center stage at the National Assembly yesterday afternoon as Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migo Ogamba fielded questions from members of Parliament. Lawmakers are demanding clarity on teacher recruitment and funding delays that continue to affect learners across the country.
A silent crisis continues to brew in the country's junior secondary schools. A critical shortage of teachers. Appearing before the National Assembly on Wednesday, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos admitted that while efforts have been made, many schools are still grappling with limited staff, some relying on as few as 2 or 3 teachers.
It's true that there, and I've indicated it, that we do not have the optimal number of teachers in each school. So we are making do with the number that we have. But in 2025, for example, the teacher shortage stands at 98,461 teachers.
He added that the ministry is working closely with the Teacher Service Commission to retool existing teachers to better support the junior secondary school curriculum,
so that they are able to teach the subjects and they're able to meet the requirements of the students as we work towards employing more to ensure that we have enough. That's why we said we have employed 76,000 teachers in the last 1 or 2 years, and we continue making efforts to employ more depending on availability of budget.
But MPs pressed further, raising concerns over the issuance of employment letters allegedly involving members of Parliament.
To clarify, because it's been out there, the public believes that members of this House are the ones that are recruiting teachers for Teacher Service Commission. I would like him to clarify whether it is members that are recruiting or is the Teacher Service Commission that is recruiting teachers in Kenya.
Mr. Speaker, as far as I know, TSC recruits teachers for the ministry. The teachers are not recruited by members of Parliament.
Away from staffing concerns, the lawmakers also flagged cases of students being sent home for lack of school fees and delays in capitation.
Your plan in assuring that we do not have some students in Kenya who are always thrown out of class for lacking fees.
The head teachers are not allowed to send students home for lack of fees because secondary and primary schools is funded by the government, unless it is the portion that relates to boarding that the parents pay. And we normally work very closely with the Ministry of Treasury to ensure that the capitation is released on time. Last September, it was released 2 days before opening, so we did not have that challenge. But in January, there was a bit of a challenge. We had to do it even in installments. For the second term that is coming, we are already engaging with the Treasury, including this morning we had a meeting with Treasury to try and negotiate with them to ensure that we receive the capitation before the schools open.
Meanwhile, in the Senate, Environment Cabinet Secretary Deborah Mulongo has dismissed reports of illegal logging in public forests. She said a multi-agency task force is already in place to clamp down on illegal logging and charcoal trade.
Forest officers and cadets has been a game changer, achieving a significant reduction in illegal forest activities which contribute to deforestation. The ministry again deployed a multi-agency security team to enforce and eradicate illegal logging and charcoal production. There's enhanced surveillance and patrols. KFS has intensified surveillance efforts, including aerial monitoring and ground patrols, to deter illegal activities. These measures have contributed to a reduction in illegal logging and charcoal production.
Now, from the National Assembly, the government will allocate a budget towards the DNA testing and funeral bodies recovered from the Shakahola forest in Kilifi County. Interior and Government Coordination Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, while defending the government against allegations of dragging its feet in releasing the findings of the probe, said the allocation of the budget will form the final stages of the conclusion of the probe that has been ongoing since March of 2023.
After the government launched a probe into the gory discovery of bodies in Shakahola Forest, the investigation remains inconclusive, owing to difficulties in linking DNA samples to relatives. The bodies are yet to be released to their kin, owing to the DNA headache. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen says the exercise will conclude soon once the government has allocated a budget for the same.
Based on my briefing I've received here, I really think that there is need for a one-off budget that takes care of both collection of information, of samples, but most importantly in terms of final leg in terms of investigation, but also what to do with the people who are unable to come forward. We are unable to get DNA samples. What do we do with the site? Can we make it a memorial site for remembrance of these victims of, unfortunately, religious extremism and radicalization?
While on a security sensitization tour of Kilifi, Murkomen denied allegations that the government was dragging its feet on concluding the matter.
This is regrettable, and this is an indictment on the part of government, as a whole. It is something that should not happen in a country that has so many security apparatus, either whether somebody received intelligence information from the ground and maybe never acted on it, or we must own up as a government that this is a failure on our part.
In the meantime, Murkomen has warned government officers against aiding land grabbing in Kilifi County. Murkomen claims that land officials in the county are working in cahoots with national government administration officers, Ngao, judicial officers and police officers, being behind an emerging land-grabbing racket, depriving locals of their land in favor of wealthy individuals.
After here, I will be seeking for consultation with the Chief Justice because part of the problems here is sometimes our judicial officers compound the problem when it comes to land issues by either issuing conflicting court orders or sometimes issuing, for example, an order on adverse possession.
Now, still in the coastal region, the Kenya Defence Forces have brought down the 11-story building in Mombasa that has been sinking. During the exercise, nobody was injured as everyone had been evacuated from the surrounding area.
Early morning, and these were the scenes after the announcement that some roads, including the entry to the island through the Nyali Bridge, were barricaded to pave way for the planned demolition. Hours later, at around 12:55 p.m., the building was brought down by the Kenya Defence Forces.
Congratulations to the Army for the job that you have been able to do. The coordination that we have had together has been immense. The chiefs through the national government, the coordination ya wale ambao kwamba ni wazee wa mitaa, the county employees, you have truly made me proud. I'm honored to be called your governor. Residents were asked to keep off the area for at least 2 hours to pave way for the clearing of the debris before they are allowed back into their houses. Despite a few shattered windows, no casualties were reported. We have had 0 casualties. The building is down as planned. We had 17 ambulances. We had hospitals ready. For now, tupeni nafasi tu ya muda takriban saa moja, ikizidi sana masaa mawili, everyone will go back to their houses. The team in charge is already making preparations. Wakipatiwa go ahead, hii area kutakuwa na excavator leo kuanza kuondoa The
Mombasa County government is promising to investigate if regulations were flawed during the construction of the doomed building.
All the county government building inspectors who signed on any of those particular documents by being entrusted that they're the ones who went to the ground, until the verification is confirmed that what they signed is what is actually on the ground, they are to be sent on compulsory leave until this task force is going to be able to be finalized.
The owners of the building, however, say that the development was above board.
We had already applied for 6th floor. You are right. But at the ground floor level only when we are doing basement and we have the certificate to confirm, there's nothing we are hiding. We got an approval for 4 more floors, which is there. So there should be no speculations. There is nothing ill will. Hakuna kitu tumefanya nyume.
That building was 11-story. In Kiswahili, ilikuwa gorofa. Iko na gorofa 11. I'm just wondering, from my layman term, I'm not an engineer as such, when that building was coming up, did they notice it sinking when it was done, or during, and someone just ignored what they were seeing? Secondly, there's a question of how is the ground, where this particular building was constructed? Did it have to do with the structural groundworks? This is a coastal region, so we have different, just as you do your studies when you're building when you're constructing a building, you have to have experts tell you how far deep you can go into the ground to get, a foundation that is going to stand the building that you're putting up and such. So I'd want to find out exactly what the report is going to bring out in this particular issue here, because 350 million is not, a drop in the, is not just something that you can wish away. And also looking at the lives that were put in danger. Were it occupied? Were it not brought down? So we need to look at that. Remember also the National Construction Authority has been, highlighting the challenges within the building and construction sector, saying that a majority of investors and developers opt not to engage certified engineers, so to just try and save cost. So this is a report that is quite important for us to have, to avert such losses and also avert loss of lives if we go back in history. Now that takes us to Gikomba, where the government is investigating the recurring market fires in Nairobi County that has seen thousands of traders losing their properties and incurring huge losses in their businesses. Speaking after meeting traders who recently lost their property to a recent fire in Gikomba, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki says the investigations will give a report with recommendations on long-term solutions to the rampant fires in Gikomba and Toi Market. Timothy Kipnusu with the details.
Concerns over the frequent fires in Gikomba and Toi Markets and other parts of Nairobi County pushed those affected to seek audience with the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to seek lasting solutions to the menace. Speaking after meeting traders from Gikomba, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki said the government has tasked the security agencies to thoroughly investigate and submit a comprehensive report on long-term solutions to the rampant fires in Gikomba and Toi Markets.
We must go to the root cause, and therefore the President has directed the relevant agencies to investigate and the causes of these fires. It doesn't make sense to imagine that all these things are accidents, because they keep on happening year in, year out, and therefore that work is ongoing to make sure that we get into the roots of this matter and resolve it once and for all.
The government plans to construct at least 10 modern high-rise markets, including Gikomba, Toi and Muthurwa.
Bottom-up economic transformation means that even business people who are having small businesses, micro businesses, medium businesses, should do their trade, their businesses in a dignified place with amenities, with all the facilities that they require. Agenda yetu kwa watu ya biashara ni kuhakikisha kwamba wanabiashara wa viwango mbalimbali wako na nafasi ama mahali pazuri pa kufanyia biashara yao.
Hawa wananchi na wafanyabiashara ndio wapiga kura wetu, ni wakazi wa Kenya, wana haki ya kutendewa kazi na hawajali nani atakayetenda kazi, iwe ni serikali kuu ama serikali ya ugatuzi. Bora ni soko ziwe safi, wafanyie biashara mahali safi.
Nitatuma salamu nyingine kwa hii group.
Now, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, has banned East Africa Legislative Member of Parliament, Fadla Iman Deko, from accessing Parliament buildings for the next 90 days. ODM-nominated MP Umul Khair Harun, who was involved in a fight with Deko, issued a public apology, but Wetangula says she's not off the hook yet. The two were filmed engaging in a catfight within Parliament buildings in a video that has since gone viral, with a section of legislators pointing a finger at Tigania East Member of Parliament Mporo Aburi as a source of that particular clip.
Parliament grounds on Tuesday afternoon turned into a battleground for two female legislators. From a video circulating on social media, nominated Member of Parliament Umul Khair Harun and Ayala Member of Parliament Falhada Iman Deko can be seen engaging in a heated physical confrontation. Other female MPs are seen trying to separate the two, but all their efforts were in vain. The Sergeant-at-Arms intervened successfully and separated the fighting MPs. The incident has since drawn the attention of the National Assembly Speaker, Moses Wetangula.
Yes, but you want to fight? It's an honorable fight. Yes, Umul Khair.
Who gave a ruling against the two legislators.
I'm inclined to first accord the nominated member, Honorable Umul Khair, the opportunity to explain herself, and whatever explanation she gives, also to apologize to the House. In the meantime, Honorable Falhada is forthwith precluded from accessing the precincts of Parliament, Parliament buildings and facilities for a period of 90 days.
While issuing an apology to the House, Umul Khair termed the incident unfortunate, adding that she deeply regrets it.
And I apologize and regret yesterday's unfortunate incident.
East Africa Legislative Assembly, Ayala Member of Parliament Falhada Iman Deko, has issued a public apology on the unfortunate incident as well.
Jana kilitokea ilikuwa very shameful.
With the matter being investigated, it is unclear why the two legislators resorted to a physical brawl.
During our conversation, I inquired from Honorable Falhada about incidences where she had personally attacked me and abused me in public forums, and social media, as well as extending her verbal insults to my extended family. I was seeking audience with her to find a truth, not anticipating that she would throw a cup of tea at me.
Then this lady, member of parliament, she came up to me, walking towards me whilst I was seated. Akaanza kusema something in Somali, which I didn't capture because it was just quick. And she said, I heard you talk about my dad, blah, blah, and then akanigonga na handbag alikuwa naye.
However, the Speaker has vowed to take action against the legislator responsible for recording the video clip that has since gone viral.
The issue of recording is being investigated by parliamentary police and the sergeant at arms.
I noticed Honorable Mpuri was recording the video.
And I saw who recorded. And I thought, because he's an experienced member of parliament, he will not release it.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Women Senators Association has called for restraint in handling the brawl witnessed.
We don't support any form of violence or any form of expression that goes towards blows and kicks as a means of communication.
Ni mambo ambayo yamefanyika na yametendeka, na si kwamba yametendeka tu kwa viongozi wa kike. Tumeona Machakos viongozi wamepigana.
I don't know if I should comment or weigh in on that. And anyway, it happened, but then we've had handbags and tea was involved in that scuffle. All right, let's speak business now. Central Bank of Kenya has dismissed claims of currency manipulation, attributing the shilling stability to targeted policy interventions and prudent monetary management. CBK Governor Kamau Thuge says a strong balance of payments, solid export base, and capital inflows are some of the factors supporting the Kenyan unit, which has hovered around 120 shillings to the dollar for months now, despite worsening global geopolitics.
Kenya's economy continues to demonstrate resilience, with the shilling remaining relatively stable against the US dollar in recent months, despite ongoing global markets and currency volatility. In the last 7 months, the shilling has been trading at 129 to the dollar, despite the ongoing global trade war between the US and leading economic powers like China and the European Union. Central Bank of Kenya Governor Dr. Kamau Thuge attributes the stabilization of the exchange rate to deliberate policy measures and improved overall balance of payments.
Very good performance in terms of exports. We've had good performance in terms of travel receipts, and we've had good performance in the current account. So I think taking all that into account, we feel that there's no need for a stronger shilling, and there's no need for a weaker shilling. I think we're just at the right place.
Thuge says the recently imposed 10% reciprocal tariff by the United States will have minimal impact on the Kenyan economy, though exports to the US are unlikely to drop by close to $100 million.
It's still relatively small compared to, of course, our GDP. Our GDP is north of $122 billion. So I do think that the impact of the higher tariffs on the economy will be muted by the expansion on the aggregate demand side, whether it's the private sector increase in both consumption and investment.
On the domestic front, the governor expressed concerns over the rising level of non-performing loans, which now stands at 17.2%, urging commercial banks to increase lending to the private sector.
I think that process of getting rid of the road sector pending bills should also have an impact on the NPLs, because some of the NPLs are actually in the construction sector.
The CBK governor further says National Treasury and the International Monetary Fund are negotiating a loan facility with Kenya to ease supply-side pressures. On the state of the domestic banking market, CBK says it is conducting on-site inspections on risk-based pricing for all commercial lenders in the country with mixed results.
Well, that effectively puts a cap on Matters News this morning. Some of the stories that we are keeping tabs on is the ongoing IEBC interviews, as well as that particular outbreak in Wajir that has so far claimed the lives of 33 individuals, as government maintains that it is going to contain the spread. Also on Matters Health, there is a cholera outbreak, so whatever you do, keep your hands clean. Use water and soap to keep away from, contaminating your food or what you're taking in light of these developments. I'm Regina Manyara. This is Entertainment Thursday, so do keep it right here. Have a great day ahead.